Welcome back, everyone. This is Thomas Triple T Tie with another new bullish crypto analysis. Before we dig into the macro news, remember this is for edutainment only and not to be considered as financial advice. Additionally, I would love it if you, or appreciate it, if you would share my analysis that are pretty simple to understand and helps people get a hand on the market and make better informed decisions, especially in crypto and the stock markets. I'm more into crypto than stocks. I'm pretty much out of stocks. Anyways, yeah, I would appreciate it. Smash the like, ring my bell, hit subscribe if you haven't, and please share your thoughts in the comments. Like I mentioned in my first video today, I separated out the market chart analysis from the market news analysis. I just did the market chart analysis, and now I'm going to dive into the news analysis. This will make it easier to shorten the time down to make it digestible for some of you, and also allow you to pick and choose which one you want to watch or listen to. So with that, let's dig into the market news. We'll start off with this equities chart heat map here. I went through this earlier, so I won't go through it now, but pretty much want to show you that it's pretty bad, horrible day for the U.S. stock markets. Not just U.S. stock markets, but pretty much all major indexes around the world. Pretty red day. And there was one more I wanted to share. This one. Here's the crypto heat map, and also blood red for the day. So let's dive into the news. We'll start off with the U.S. centric news. These are macro news that will impact both crypto and also the equities market, not just the U.S. but around the world. So Fed's Daly, Mary Daly, says the economy can handle rate hikes, but a mild recession is possible. This is according to CNBC, and this is Mary here. Hey, Mary. She's the San Francisco Fed president, and I do agree with her that the economy can handle the rate hikes. Totally agree with her. I'm not so sure that the 50 basis points will be enough. I think they might have to go more aggressive. It's my opinion. So uncertainty caused the market to be volatile. So, according to The Guardian, U.S. Won't rule out military action if China establishes base in the Solomon Islands. If you haven't heard or watched my recent videos about the Solomon Islands, and that's a tiny group of islands near New Zealand and Australia. And they have an agreement with China to I'm trying to be politically correct about this. They have an agreement with China to have economic and ties, partnerships. However, the West, U.S., Australia, and New Zealand, they're more concerned about that partnership to allow China to build a military base there, which would cause a lot of tension in that area, in that region. And China has been looking to expand their military presence, especially in the Southeast Asian islands, and now they're going towards Australia. So this could potentially escalate. And as you know, war does impact the markets. Bank of America, according to FreightWaves, Bank of America is sounding alarm on collapse in freight demand, and the reason there's a freight demand issue. So if a lot of things come out of China, and there's another article I'll show you in a minute. A lot of export come out of China, and if China is facing a COVID lockdown, on their like major cities like Shanghai and Beijing, and export can't get out. And then guess what? We're not going to have a freight to go across the ocean and freight to go across through the trucks. So demand, there's data showing that significant drop in the freight demand is collapsing. It's near its low of what was it, March 2020, when we had the start of the COVID situation in the U.S. So, and this could cause some major issues without. So let's say the truck, there's no demand for trucks for logistics, and then what do? Well, they have to support their rig, they have to support their family. So if they start not getting their getting work, and they go out of business, or they're not able to sustain their businesses, and then later on when export picks up from China, guess what? We may not have them to be able to deliver goods across the United States or other countries. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo's in the news again, and there's a class action lawsuit against Wells Fargo for discriminating against African American borrowers of all at all stages in the home loan process. Wells Fargo, in recent years, has been known, and actually they were caught cheating customers, etc., with cheating customers with car loans, and with high pressure on their employees for sales, etc. So they're not, they're used to the news. Let's put it that way. And Wells Fargo is one of I think they're the fourth largest bank in America. So, and guess what? Wells Fargo again. Wells Fargo confirms mortgage staff layoffs. They did not say how many people are being laid off or what areas. They're just confirming that major layoffs they're working through major layoffs. And why does this impact the market? Well, mortgage rates go up, less applications, inventory is low on housing, so not a lot of people are applying or qualify, and so they're going to start letting people go, and that does impact the market. Oh goodness, I hate these banner ads. The U.S. This is according to what is this? Reuters. This according to Reuters. U.S. allies promise heavy arms for Ukraine, and they shrug off Russian nuclear warning. Russia confuses me. Like they make the dumbest decisions ever. Like what are they gonna gain from like invading Ukraine? And now they're planning to invade another. It looks like they might be invading another country on their border there. So, anyways, so Western allies are stepping up heavy arms. Heavy arms, we're talking about like anti-aircraft tanks. You're talking about missiles, like bigger weapons. So not just Germany, they previously at the start of the invasion. They said that they had certain things that they didn't want to send over, but now they changed their mind. Now they're offering anti-aircraft tanks to Ukraine. And Moldova is there was a blast in Moldova, and Moldova is a country that recently was one that a Russian general kind of slipped and hinted at. Making their way towards that region for another invasion. And so Lavrov, he said that NATO support for Ukraine could lead to world war. I'm not sure what's going on in their mind over there in Russia, but You know, Russia, if you're attacking another country and you're planning to attack more countries, and you just kind of like, attack like friendly neighbors, you're the one causing world war. You're the one. What are you thinking? Like, what's in the water over there? Oh, here's Russia angrily demands U.S. to stop sending weapons to Ukraine, according to Newsweek. yeah, stop sending weapons to Ukraine so we can just like murder their people, bury them in mass graves, rape their women, and kill their children, and imprison a bunch of civilians and take them back to Russia for camps, concentration camps. Russia, you are so out of your mind. Get the freaking out of other people's country and focus on your country and your people. I feel so sorry for your people. So, part of the reason why Russia wants to focus on the eastern front of Ukraine and also potentially make their way to Moldova and I forget what that other country is, but they're creating a pathway, so that they can create a land corridor along the Ukraine coast to Moldova. It's easier when you have a path to be able to maneuver militarily, etc. So, yeah, Russia. Here's more about the. I think this is according to Daily Beast. Attacks begin in a new country as Russia warns a nuclear threat is real. Russia, we hurt you. Now you just need to stop with your stupid invasions and violent, evil actions, and just go back to Russia and focus on your people and help them out of poverty. And stop attacking other countries. And no, we hurt you, but you are the one creating nuclear threats, and you're the one causing all this violence. So Russia's foreign minister has warned Western powers not to underestimate the real risk of nuclear conflict if they continue to funnel weapons to Ukraine in what he says is undeclared proxy war. But guess who's doing the actual war, Russia? You. What is wrong with you people? Oh, here's another one. Gosh. Here's that dude. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm just going to skip this. Yeah, this is U.S. warning of potential military response if China builds military presence on the Solomon Islands. Lots of military threats going around, not just from Russia, from the West too, but understandably. Oh yeah, here's another article supporting what was it? Bank of America's analysis on the U.S. truckers demand for their work will slow down. But yeah, this basically tells you the another angle from it. Just lack of export from China will hurt that the U.S. trucking industry. So more investment banks slash expectations on China's economic outlook once their GDP growth of less than 4%. So with the major lockdowns going on in China, guess what's going to happen? Well, they're not going to be able to export stuff, and if they can't export stuff, people can't buy their stuff, and so if people can't buy their stuff, well, their economics not going to grow. So, but however, China is the world's second biggest economy. So if you think about it, what happens in China will impact the rest of the world. So it's important to pay attention to how their growth and all that is happening. Uh, Biden administration secures. Trying to get rid of that banner. Biden administration secures 20 million courses of COVID-19 antiviral pill, according to CNN. And if you don't know what this antiviral pill is it's this it's by Pfizer, and it's the Paxlovid. And basically, you can take 3 courses of this pill, and it has, what is it? 89% effectiveness in high-risk adults after the first few days of being having COVID symptoms. So it's just another option for people, and whether your choice. But that's another option instead of doing the vaccination. This article from Peter Schiff, I totally disagree with Peter Schiff on crypto, however, and Bitcoin. However, he's got some solid points as far as the macro environment, and he in this article from I think this is Peter Schiff Gold. Yeah, I totally disagree with him about gold too. The guy doesn't I don't think he owns a lot of gold. I think it's his business to sell gold, so he's a big gold maxi. But his macro perspective is phenomenal. So he was he made a few responses to Chairman Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, and he some of it I agree with all of it. In fact, he said that these are politicians disguised as economists or bankers, and they're either incompetent or liars. I don't think most of them are incompetent. I'm not sure about the liars part. He may be onto something there. So either way, you're never going to get a valid answer. True, true. Well, I'm not sure about never. And sometimes you might, like once in a while. He literally just disagreed with all points made by Jerome Powell, and he said that we had a great bubble, a gigantic bubble. That's what we had, because in Powell's presentation, he talked about how the economy was strong prior to the pandemic. I love how people spin stuff. And then Powell said that the pandemic came along and screwed up this great economy. And Schiff responded, no, the pandemic may be pricked. Maybe the pandemic maybe pricked the bubble, but it also exposed the underlying weaknesses in the economy. Because had we truly had a strong economy, we could have weathered the pandemic to such a greater degree than we did. And of course, we could have weakened it better had we not had the horrific government response to the pandemic. What he's talking about there is that money printing and just handing out money left and right and propping up the stock market. So cheap money, low interest rate, people had money, they spend it. So that's what he's talking about, the response to the pandemic. And we're dealing with that right now. So increase in money supply, like huge in the history of the U.S. dollar. I think most of it was printed since 2020. Yeah. Powell talked about the remarkable fiscal and monetary response. And Peter Schiff said that it wasn't remarkable. It was the worst possible response you could have made. I'm not sure if it's the worst possible response, but it was bad. It sowed the seed for inflation. That's true. That we're experiencing now. But more importantly, the even greater inflation we've yet to experience, but that we will experience. I completely agree with that. The inflation that we're dealing with now, some of that is like a year off, like in housing and all that stuff. Yeah, we're gonna feel it. in 2020, later in 2022, and in 2023 for sure. And then Powell talked about the great economic recovery we've experienced thanks to this remarkable policy. That remarkable policy is why we're dealing with all this right now. Why the markets are crashing. Why crypto's crashing. Why inflation's so high. Why like food, rent, housing, all that stuff is crazy high right now. So let's see what Peter Schiff said. He said, we didn't have a great recovery. We never recovered at all. We got even sicker. It's just that Powell didn't know that. Well, I think Powell knew that. Powell is a very smart guy. All we did was spend the money and that the Fed printed. We did. And we're experiencing the consequences. We are. Powell mentioned that the inflation came out of nowhere, and it just rained on the parade. He acted as if the inflation freight train just came out of nowhere. Well, and then he said that nobody expected it. Powell is a smart guy. See, a lot of politicians, a lot of executives, leaders, they get trained or they learn how to spin things. With midterm election coming up, it's, I get it. They're trying to spin things to make it seem like they're not at fault. Sure, they are not at fault 100%, but they contributed to the problem. And Peter Schiff said that Powell made it out as if everything was great, and then all of a sudden we had inflation and war, and now we've got this big problem. Of course, he fails to acknowledge or accept any responsibility for having created the problem. I don't think Powell created the problem. I think he contributed to the problem. Powell continued to talk about his war on inflation, saying the 50 basis point interest rate hike was definitely on the table for May, and saying that the central bank would front load the rate hikes. These comments tanked the U.S. market. They did. But let's see what Peter said. Everybody wants to point to the rhetoric of Powell and some other FOMC members. Everybody says we've got this hawkish Fed that's really aggressive. They're not aggressive. They're not hawkish. If they really were aggressive and hawkish, they wouldn't just be talking about the hikes. They would have already hiked the rates by way more than 25 basis points. Completely agree. If the Fed were hawkish, they would have increased like 50 basis points in March. I think what the Fed is doing is that because it's midterm election, they're trying to ride it softly and trying to cushion the landing. They're trying to land. They're trying to get a soft landing for the market, the economy. And I'm not so sure they're able to do it because, in my opinion, they're behind the ball on their answer or answers to inflation. And we're gonna probably get a hard landing. But if they can stretch it out for the rest of 2022 and paint a picture of a soft landing, then they would have gone over the midterm election and then deal with it in 2023. That's what I think they're doing. And so if the market crashes in 2022, they're going to have a really tough time with the election. I think they're going to have a tough time already because the younger generation are having a tough time. And Biden's poll numbers are significantly low with younger voters. So I think that's a major concern. So I wanted to spend more time with this because Peter had some really good points in here. And it's not often that I focus on Peter Schiff's information because oftentimes he's just so wrong about crypto. Also, Warren's, this is according to CNBC, Warren Siegel, he's a well-known professor, super smart guy too. He said that the Fed should hike rates by 75 basis point, taking medicine all at once. I agree. I completely agree. In order to deal with inflation, they gotta just get at it. Like I mentioned earlier, the challenge they're facing midterm election. So you get a balance between the two, right? If they go hard on 75 basis point and we go into a recession, guess what? They just lost the midterm election. So I think you got to take it from different perspectives and see why didn't they do that? Because Powell's smart. That guy's not. He's smart. So I agree. It just, you got to take a look at it from like a political perspective as well. The world's engines are sputtering. IMF points to deeper problems beyond 2022. I've already mentioned this several times. The International Monetary Funds revised the world economic outlook, and this is just not the U.S. This is according to, this is based on the world economics. It's global growth in 2022. I think I mentioned this previously. They downgraded a global growth, like previously from 4.4 to 3.6. That's a significant drop. And so, I'm not the only one thinking that we're in a world of hurt. So with all that, I'm not sure why some people think that we're going to hit market highs in 2022, or that Bitcoin is going to reach $100,000 by the end of 2022. I'm not sure what world they're living, but right now, as you can see, for the last couple of months, the macro environment has been driving the markets, equities and crypto. So I'm not sure how long this video went, but it's really important to understand different aspects of the macro environment, so you can be informed about your investments, and instead of just FOMOing in or like believing some of these people that think crypto Bitcoin is going to go to 100 by the end of this year, or like 500 or whatever. Those are crazy. Just look at the macro, because that's what's moving the markets right now. So feel free to smash the like, ring my bell, hit subscribe if you haven't, and share your thoughts in the comments section below. And I appreciate it. I have a few more videos to do today, and so I'll see you in them. Bitcoin daily analysis is coming up. Peace.